time. I be the man to blast the suckers. I be the man to run the suckers. You know you cocksuckers. I'm the man that's drinking vanilla. Crown boy, you feeling real smooth. Dude, attitudes be changing left and right. I ain't talking about nothing coming off the top of the brain. I'm feeling like insane podcast. Unpredictable like mystical. We doing that thing. We bang. Easy breezy. Back in Hawaii. Loving what I gotta do to make it you like me. Steve-O, Alexandria. I don't wanna mess with anybody. Look, I'm the man in the game.
Yo, it's your boy Troubles in the building.
Man Jones.
Welcome to another episode of Unpredictable Thoughts Podcast. Yo, we want to thank you for all the support on all the merchandise. Man, summer's leaving. Fall is approaching. Fall approached this morning. Like, I ain't want to get out of bed.
What the weather was like up there?
It's probably like, it had to be around like the late 60s, like going into 70s, like low 70s. It was low 70s.
So it felt, okay, see, I thought they was acting like it was freezing up there.
But the transition
cold,
was just like that.
Oh, okay. So there was no warning. Like
It wasn't no warning, like, oh, we cold. Like, we cold today. That's how it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hell, y'all gonna be getting rain. Y'all should probably get rain tomorrow, Friday. Because we getting rain now from this hurricane. It's coming y'all way.
Let me finish this. I didn't even know about that until yesterday, but let me finish this. Make sure y'all check out Unpredictable Thoughts, UntitledChapter.com for all the sale and upcoming merchandise. Also, I want to say thank y'all for subscribing to the podcast. We do this for y'all, so we vibing. Now sip slow, enjoy the show. What you sipping on, Jones?
Oh, I'm sipping on a little Crown. A little, Crown regular, no but nothing. A little Crown and Coke.
Oh yeah. I got the Henny White. I'm sipping on that.
Oh, where you get the white from? You went on
Now, I had a whole case like from like a couple years ago, and I forgot I had it. Yeah, I had a whole case and I forgot I had it, just stashed away. So
okay. A whole case, huh?
Yeah.
Your guy had a whole case. Okay.
I got you. You get a package that just say Jones, and that's it.
Speaking of which, if you want to send somebody something for birthday, put a card with it, put a note with it, something with it, so you know where it came from. Because I was telling everybody, I was like, God, the only person I know that'll send me something and won't, because that's what Virgos do. We'll send it and ask you about it later. It's Alexander. I was like, Alexander said this. I'm Friday the night of my little get together. I was like, it was like, who sent it? I was like, it couldn't have been but one person. It was Alexander. I know my daughters didn't send it. No random chick just sent this. This came from Alexander. Alexander sent this. He just ain't say nothing. He gonna ask you about it the next time. Hence today. First thing he asked me was, did you get a package? Yes, I did. So, yeah, sir. Thank you.
Salute to you. Happy B-Day. How did you enjoy your birthday?
And, I kept it real chill. Because of COVID. I don't want to bring a whole bunch of people in and people be like, oh, man, I got the COVID at your little get-together. So I was like, nope, I'm going to keep it with my little crew that I always hang with. That way, if anybody gets sick, it was one of us that got us sick, but we ain't nobody sick, so I'm good. And that's the way I'm going to keep it from now until, I'm guessing until probably after the first of the year, because I looked at the news. I hadn't been watching the news. I gave the news, world news tonight, local news, everything. I gave it all a break because it was just too much.
Yeah.
And I happened to look at the news last night, and I found out that it's 900,000 people that have died from COVID worldwide. That's what the news said yesterday, and I was like, damn, that's how much I hadn't been watching. So yeah. I literally just stopped watching the news. But if you think about it, people still dying from this every day. They just downplaying it now because they want to focus on the election here in this country. So,
but I mean, do you think it's still part of those numbers? Because, at one point they were saying like, well, if you had like a gunshot wound and you had COVID, you died of COVID, not that gunshot wound. So like the inflation of numbers.
That's because it was about money. So the more cases of COVID you got at your hospital, the more money you got. So money, the more that federal money's starting to dry up. Now it's like the real numbers coming out like, okay, yeah, it's still people be getting it because a lot of people want to go with the herd mentality. And the herd mentality works in an area where you can get the old people to stay in the house and get the young people to stay in the house. And let them go out and get it. And the people that's going to get sick, or they're going to get healed, or they're going to die, whatever. That's a risk that government's so willing to take. The problem with a lot of people in this country is they feel like they have the right to risk other people's lives by not wearing a mask or whatever the ordinance is. So, and I'm not saying me, I wear my mask when I go out in public, but there's a lot of businesses here post this sign saying we do not follow the city ordinance on wearing a mask. So when you go in that business, you don't have to wear a mask. You're wearing a mask. I don't need to come in your business then.
I know it was like I don't know, like, cause up here, cause like, okay, now, you know, for our listeners, our viewers, like he's in Albany, Georgia, and I'm in Baltimore, Maryland. So what the rule of thumb is now for a lot of places is like, you have to wear a mask coming in, but once you're in, you get to take it off. But you then, like, when you're leaving, you got to put it back on. So it's just like one of those, I feel as though it's just like, yo, to the outside world, we got to show that we're following the rule. But like, since you inside, it's like a speakeasy. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you know, you don't got to worry about
so I understand that. How you going to get your drink or eat your food with a mask on? You can't. So I understand that. But if you're in Walmart, or you're in Target, or you're in a grocery store, and you're just buying groceries or whatever, put a mask on, walk around, get your stuff, and walk out. You ain't got to the phone, hacking on people, being all close to people, because I don't like people no way. So you stand 6 feet away from me, 8 feet away from you, ain't bothering me at all. Hey, keep your distance. So, I'm mad at that. I'm not mad at that one bit. 6 feet is not far enough. As far as I'm concerned, you be 12, 14 feet away from me.
Yeah.
I don't need you to, I don't want to talk to you when I'm in the grocery store, no way. I don't even want to be in the grocery store. So what makes you think I want to talk to you in the grocery store while you doing whatever you doing? Because I ain't got time for that. And there's a lot of Karens in this world that think that the rules don't apply to them. So they want to get right up on your heels when they're in line. Lady, them little markers on the floor for a reason. They say, get 6 feet back. And they know who they can yell and scream at and who they can't. So they
pick and choose on who they want to play victim to.
Right. They know which ones they can do that yelling and screaming and, oh my God, he did something to me. And then the ones that they can't. So, I mean, you know, I hate to call them Karens because that's probably somebody's girlfriend or wife's name, but that's the given name that they've earned. A bunch of Karens out here doing the most. So
shout out to all the Karens that's doing the most.
That ain't what I want to talk about. I want to talk about this dude that was the passenger in the Uber that got pulled out of the car and beat by the police.
I briefly read that on Twitter, but like I guess I skimmed
Let me see if you see the video.
It's just like it's too many. Like, what's going on with the police force in general? It's too much. Like AC said the last podcast. It's like, okay, we tired to talk about training. So where does this go? Like, I say screening process. Like, you need to get screened like MSG. Like, that's how I feel as though.
But even them, even they make mistakes.
Understood.
But the consequences are so much. We talk about it all the time. The consequences are so much greater for Marines when they make mistakes versus civilians that you don't get a lot of mistakes made in the military as far as like the police field or MSG or any kind of security details, even in the Navy, Army, Air Force. And the thing is, when it comes out, it's so. I mean, we talk about the Fort Hood, the commander at Fort Hood getting relieved. That's the consequence of you not doing your job in the military. If you're a general or a sergeant major or a colonel or whatever, get relieved, and you might as well go ahead and put in your papers and retire because that's the end of your career. It's a wrap.
I got a quick question for you. So with the military having its own police force, right? MPs, MAs, Mass Air Arms, military police, depending on what branch you want go for, right? So, like, you're already on the federal level just being on the military, right? And then on top of that, you become, like I said, a police officer within the military, right?
Right.
Say if a police or MA or MP shooting happened on base that equated to like something like that happened in town with all these other police shootings, like the last one we talked about,
Mm-hmm.
how severe would the consequence be compared to a cop in the civilian community? I'm gonna just leave it as that.
Okay, so we're gonna go unjust. We're gonna basically say an unjustified homicide. That's basically unjust. You can't justify it. You killed somebody. You need to use that much force to kill them, and the person died, and you're in the military as an MP or MA or shore patrol or whatever it is, Navy police, Army police, whatever you are. You did something to somebody. You used too much force, and now the person's dead. First of all, if it's on video and everybody can see what you did, and you say that this is what happened, but the video is saying something else, you might as well go ahead and hang it up. They're going to court-martial you. They're not going to ask a whole lot of questions because the military wants it off of them as fast as possible. I need to blame somebody, because somebody is the person that pulled the trigger. So that's who I'm blaming. The whole Marine Corps didn't do this. He did this, or she did this. The whole Army didn't do this. Like we said about that general. He's responsible. That's the person holding this sword. So we talked about that already. That's how the military works. They don't want to take responsibility for it as a whole branch of service. We want to put the focus on one person and let them pay. And that's it.
So why isn't that the same frame of thinking within the civilian community? Like, I wouldn't want, like, yes, I'm in charge of like Baltimore County police officers, right? However, if one of my cops shoots somebody, I don't want it on me. Like, I don't want it on my force. Like, I don't want none of that on me. So it's just, hey, I don't want. We'll continue talking. Hold on, Taylor. We in the middle of a conversation. I apologize, but I don't want that on me. So why isn't the frame of mind the same in thinking? It feels like it's more protective. The blue line.
Because you have to. Initially, you have to. You don't never want to accuse somebody of doing something until all the facts come out. And that's what we do as a society. We automatically say somebody's guilty before all the facts are known. Like, I'm trying to think of a police shooting that was kind of justified, but we talked about it, that one in Georgia with a dude that was in the drive-thru that fell asleep and he ended up getting shot and killed.
Okay, yeah.
I believe, and it's just my opinion, so please don't beat me up and be trying to find me and all that, but I believe when all the facts come out, whether you believe the cops were right or wrong for killing him, I don't believe that they had to shoot him. He was already drunk. They knew he was going. He was running back to his sister's house more than likely. But because they shot him after he had the taser and he shot it at them, according to Georgia state law, I'm not talking about what I know in my mind. Georgia state law says a taser is a deadly weapon. So did they have the right to use deadly force? The answer to that question is yes. So I believe after all this is said and done and everybody calms down and this thing goes to wherever it's going to go, they might not get their jobs back, but they're going to get some money from the city.
Because of the escalation of force, as we always talk about, right?
Because of the way the law is. Because we talked about it. If I have a taser and you're a cop and I tase you with your taser and now take your gun and shoot you, what did I just do?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's why the law is written the way it's written. So a lot of people don't agree with that statement. I've debated this with hundreds of people, and every time I say it, oh man, that's bullshit and blah, 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 blah. I understand how you feel, but understand this. The law says one thing. How you think about it and how you view it is completely irrelevant. It does not matter. In the eyes of the law says you can do it, or the law says this is what it is. If law says it and they were within the law, they're going to be found not guilty, or they're going to get their jobs back, or they're going to get some money or something. Something will happen where it's going to benefit them in the long run. That was a knee-jerk reaction. And you know what a knee-jerk reaction is, being in the military. I'm going to fix the problem by solving the problem immediately without really thinking about the consequences.
Yeah. So let's go into this Uber thing real quick before we go into the rest. So what happened with the whole Uber and the police?
The Uber? Okay, so the dude was riding in an Uber. The Uber had a blown tail light. The cop pulls the car over. Only person he should have been talking to in the car is the driver. That's it. How he got to the passenger in the back, I have that part's still not clear. I do know is that he punched this dude in the face at least 8 times with a closed fist. At least 8 from the video.
Damn, nigga.
From what I was counting, 8 to 10. This dude was out cold. He was out. He was asleep.
Was it one officer on scene?
It was 2. It was 2. One officer was trying to get his hands behind his back and he wasn't kind of releasing his hands. So the other officer kind of reached over and started punching him. I mean, in the face, straight. I mean, his nose, mouth, and everything was bleeding.
But why did it escalate to that? I'm a cop. I analyze a tail light. I know you're not operating the vehicle. Why am I talking to old boy in the back? Did they say that?
They still ain't got to that part yet. They fired this dude. They fired him like 2 or 3 days later after that happened. So they never got to that part, why he ever went in the back seat of the car. But this dude that they was arguing with did have a warrant for something. It makes no difference because they shouldn't have been talking to him. He had nothing to do with what was going on. He wasn't driving the vehicle.
So I guess with your experience being on police force would have been like, okay, tail light out, a license registration. I see that you have a Uber or Lyft thing on your car, so I'm assuming, or is knowledge that you are.
I don't even care. I don't care who you got in your car with you. I don't care.
Yeah.
I care about your passengers, unless the dude in the back seat started bumping his gums and giving me some grief about something. Why do I care about who's in your car?
Yeah.
I didn't pull you over because of who was in your car. I pulled you over because you had a blown tail light.
Yeah. So should it just
who's in your car?
Broken tail light and keep it pushing.
I've done this before.
Yeah.
That's it. More likely, if you respect me when I get up to the window and say, good afternoon, sir, or whatever it is, hey, I'm Officer Jones. The reason why I pulled you over is because you have a blown tail light. Did you know you had a blown tail light? Now, if you come back and be like, motherfucker, I know the tail light was blown, blah, 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 blah. Oh, you catching this ticket. Let me get that license and registration. And here comes this ticket. But if you be like, you know what, officer, I did not know I had a blown tail light, and I'm gonna get that fixed as soon as I can. You know what I'm gonna say? I'm gonna run your license to make sure that you can legally drive, because I should, because I can anyway. Once it comes back good, your insurance is good and your license is good, you know what? You have a nice thing, get that taken care of. I might even give you a fix-it ticket to say, hey, I'm gonna write you a ticket so that you can remember to get it fixed. That way, if you get pulled over again, you don't get a ticket. But I'm not gonna.
What the fuck is a
I'm not gonna
fix-it
intentionally
ticket? I
never heard of that.
You never heard of that before?
I never heard of a fix-it ticket.
Basically, it's a ticket that says that you can just, whatever you need fixed, all you gotta do is take that ticket to the courthouse or to wherever your local jurisdiction is and show them, hey, I got this fixed. They take it out of the system. You don't gotta go to court for it.
But do you have to pay the fees? Oh.
No. Wow. It's like some departments have it, some departments don't.
Oh.
Hey, so if you out there, people.
A lot of departments did away with it.
If you out there,
courteous.
People, yo, ask for a fix-it ticket. I'm acting.
No, don't be telling people to ask for no damn fix-it ticket. No. I'm gonna give you a fix-it ticket. All right, fix your ass in the courtroom. Hey, meet me in the courtroom on this day. It's fixed now. No, ask for a fix-it ticket. No. Basically, it's all, and I hate to say it because people are like, why we gotta be nice to the police officer? You don't have to be nice to a police officer. You don't. But there's no need for you to be super rude to a police officer because he pulled you over, because he has a job to do too.
Yeah.
So like I don't know how they got to the backseat on that guy and beat him up, but I do know that the cop pulled the guy over for a blown tail light. That's all he should have been focused on. What was going on in the back of that car? It could have been 2 people in the back of that car. Maybe they smoked weed, maybe that what drew his attention. I don't know what it was. But it was an Uber driver. And the Uber drivers, it's rules in Ubers. You can't do whatever you want to in an Uber. Some drivers let you drink water, some don't. It's a whole bunch of rules. So we don't know the whole story, and it's never gonna come out because they already fired the guy. So it's done.
Damn, that's crazy. That's crazy, dog.
Yeah.
Hey, last
this
thing.
Is the author right here, Taylor, the author.
Well, hold on. I want to do one more thing. To shout out to all my Virgos. I didn't know I know so many damn Virgos in my life until Virgo season hit. And I'm saying happy birthday like 6 times a day
Virgos.
to people. It's crazy.
Man, I did not know. I would say this, and a lot of people might get mad because I know they love the sign that they born under. But yo, we gotta be it's the most fire sign because we got some of the best looking people born in that Virgo under that moon. I mean, I've been looking at my Facebook posts. I'm like, man, she fine. This dude look like he is attractive. I'm not gonna give him too much credit because I don't want to take it away from myself. But I mean, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fine Virgos out there in the world.
Yeah.
So,
my little sister's birthday is today. And then Maya, the designing agent, her birthday is today as well. Co-host. I wanted her to enjoy her birthday. So I was like, look, you know, enjoy your birthday.
Right.
Yeah, I don't want you don't need to, you know, focus on the podcast. But yeah, it's Virgo season. So hey, September 16th, baby.
Yeah.
Let's get into it.
Yep.
Let's get into it.
Yeah, so Miss Graham.
So we got my cousin in the building.
What up?
Yeah.
From North Carolina.
North Carolina. Okay. She said like she's from North Carolina too.
Isn't that Bull City? Do y'all call it Bull City out there?
So that's Durham. I'm in Raleigh, but I'm from High Point. So
High Point?
Oh, she's from High Point. I used to drive through High Point all the time. From even legit.
Oh, okay. Familiar with High Point?
I drive through High Point all the time. Okay. So Miss Graham. Go Miss Graham. I like the way that sounds.
Are we going last
name? You want to tell us about I like her last name. I like the way her last name the way it sounds.
Oh.
I mean, Taylor's fly too, but I like Miss Graham. I like the way Miss Graham. She got a book out. I ain't gonna call it a little book. Got a book out. You wrote a book. That's a big thing.
It is.
I read the review. It is. A lot of people don't understand how much work goes into writing a book, and I don't know whether I don't care if it's fiction, nonfiction, whatever, historical. Writing a book takes a lot of work. Yeah. It takes a lot of dedication. It takes a lot of time.
Yes, man. Me writing an Instagram caption takes a long process.
So, you know, she's an author.
Thank you.
I like the way that she's an author. Look at her.
And thank you for the nice introduction. Thanks for having me. So yeah, I wrote a book. It's called False Start, A Record of Experiences, and it's based off my life and what I've learned. So the book goes back from like middle school, and then it fast forward to like college to young professional. So it's gonna help young females. It's the book I wish I had like back then. So it's very personal. It gets deep. It's gonna make you laugh, cry, sigh. Might look at me different, but hey, it's gonna help someone. So.
Oh,
I was reading the description. You told me to go to the description. I read the description of the book, and I was like, man, this book got a whole lot going on.
I got some loaded questions.
Go ahead, shoot your shot.
So you said this book. Hey, this is just off the whim. How many family secrets in this book?
Family secrets. So it wasn't real deep. So it goes back a little bit about like how I was raised in a single parent home. My mom had me at a young age at 17. Yeah. So it shows like the struggle that we went through.
1 year apart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's like, so that's probably why our mom's so cool, right?
Yeah.
But it goes into that, and then but it also focuses mostly like college and just adulthood. So.
How long did it take you to write the book overall?
Woo, okay. So I started in like 2013, but it was more like right.
Yeah, you see my face? Did you see my face? 2013.
Right.
What are you writing? You trying to be a doctor? What you writing?
So that's the thing, right? So I actually majored in like biological sciences. So I'm a math science person, but I started writing this book in 2013 as just like fun. It was more of like a diary journal type of thing. Like I wasn't going to publish it. And then like probably 3 years ago, I went to a conference and it felt on my heart that I needed to put this book out and it needed to take a different turn. So I was like, oh Lord. And it was some things in there that I had to put in there that I didn't put in there. There's like secrets in there that I haven't told us. So like I recently told like a few people because like, hey, since I'm putting this book out, yeah, you need to know this. But yeah, it was an entire process. It took probably about the last years when I really got into it. So I sent it to an editor and got their feedback. And I think, you know what? COVID actually helped me push it out there because I had more time. I was sitting in the house.
Yeah, that's dope.
So when you and I don't want to. I haven't read the book. It's not even out yet. According to Amazon, it'll come out until October the 6th.
Yep.
But the struggles that you went through, and I don't got to tell me no details, nothing like that. But what you went through to get to this point that you felt like your diary needed to be turned into a book. How do you make that transition from this is my most intimate, deepest hurt, pain, love, joy, sacrifices? You know, how do you go from that to now putting it in print, putting it in an audio book, and then selling? I'm gonna sell this to let people know my. And granted, I know change some names and stuff like that, but how do you get to this point?
So it definitely was like a struggle. So it was kind of therapeutic as well as growth is what I learned from this process. Because at first I was like, oh, everybody gonna judge me. They're gonna look at me different. Because I was kind of gutted. Like there was a little bit of whole tendencies in there. But I was waiting for you to laugh. But you know what? It's honest and it's raw. And
Sexual liberation.
Hey, however you say it to make you feel good. She said whole tendencies, you say sexual liberations. I say experimentation. However you say it to make yourself feel good.
But you know what?
It's
the past. So it's like everybody have a past. So like
everybody.
It's not, So,
right.
But either way, I feel like it was something that our young Black women struggle with or that we encounter often, but there's like no books out there for us. Like I was looking up statistics, like Black women are more likely to get pregnant at an earlier age. They're more likely to have sex at an earlier age versus like white counterparts. They don't like lose their virginity till like later on in their like 20s, whereas Black they lose their virginity in their teens. Like it's more common. And I was like, well, dang.
Why is
like,
that?
What is that? Right. Like, do you think it's our culture, our music? Like,
no, it's not the culture or the music because we all before we put that on, because I'm the elder statesman in this group.
I appreciate
both y'all a year apart.
Yeah.
I'm the elder statesman. What it is it's the pressure of the groups we hang with. It's peer pressure, basically. Your girlfriend said, girl, you ain't do it yet? She ain't even did it yet. You got you thinking she did it, so you feel like you got to do it to keep up. Same thing with your homeboys. You ain't never ever had no nappy dugout, but all of a sudden now you're thinking, I got to get some nappy dugout. So now you start putting pressure on your girl who don't want to do it, but she feel like if she don't do it, she gonna lose you. So she's like, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and give in. And for some people, it's freedom. Okay, I got something now, I'm free, and I can go out here and explore the world, and I can do more things. And for some people, it's the pressure of being goody two shoes, or being the girl that won't give in, and that makes people try. I'm gonna say, when I say people, I'm talking about men, harder, because they feel like, okay, well, she ain't giving it to him, so I know she's gonna give it to me because I know I look better than they do. So, am I lying?
No, you're not.
No, you're not lying, dog. You're not lying. Like, yo,
you might hit the nail on the head, actually. Like,
yo, so I mean, Jones, I got a question for you. I was going to say, like, yo, do you also think, like, due to like coming from like a single parent household, like the pressure of sex is much more dominant because, like, I'm gonna be a little biased right here. Do you think it's more dominant because, like, the daughter may see the mother where her boyfriend is like, well, in order for me to keep a man, I gotta like wind up sleeping with him and he'll wind up staying with me?
No, I don't think it's that. What I think it is, and I don't know if y'all had this experience. I know when I was coming up, I know that I had a different uncle every week. See, look at your faces. Look at your faces. Taylor just got it. Taylor, it just clicked. What's Taylor? Taylor, it just clicked. If you understand what I'm saying is, in order to get through it, to make it, lights, school clothes, whatever, bills, you do whatever you got to do as a female to make sure that your family does not have to struggle. I'm not saying that all women are promiscuous and they gonna sleep with whoever. What I'm saying is, when I was coming up, it wasn't nothing, like I said, to have a different uncle every week or every other week. And hey, this your Uncle Bob, this your Uncle James, this your Uncle Tony, this your Uncle whoever. And you just went with it like, okay. As a child, you didn't know any better. Now that I'm older, I know what that was now. But back then, that was my mom doing the best she could to provide for us in the system that was in place. You know, yeah. So it is what it is. But I don't think that's the reason why young black girls have sex at a young age. Like I said, I think more than anything, it's peer pressure.
I ain't gonna say that was
we
like
put on ourselves to fit into society.
Yeah, I'm not saying like that's the only thing, but could that be like a play on part to it? Like I gotta do it so I could keep my man. Cause some girls would just give you it.
Now, let me just tell you this.
Okay.
And tell her, how old are you?
29.
Okay, she's 29. You're old enough. So let me tell you, coochie a dime a dozen. Ding dongs a dime a dozen. You can get them anywhere. They ain't hard to find. They all over the place. What's up, man? They all over the place. You don't got to go out here searching for a ding dong or coochie. They everywhere. If you got a little bit of game, you ain't got to have a lot. A little, that much. And you catch a mug on the right day, it's a done deal.
But you speaking from an older experience, though. Like when you younger, you thinking like
this. Okay, I'll do you like this. This is theory, and I know that it works. I ain't gonna tell you how I know it works. Ask 100 girls to sleep with you. 10 of them will say yes.
That's bold.
Now, 100. It seems like 100 people is a lot of people, right? That's a lot. That's a lot. 100 people is a lot. It's really not. If you think about how many people in the world, how many people in your city, you ask 100 women, and I don't care how bad they are, what their financial status is, what they do for a living. If you ask 100 women to sleep with you, 10 of them women gonna say yes. Same thing for you, Taylor. If you ask 100 dudes, well, you probably get like a 50% like return ratio on your side. Dudes be like, whatever. I got 15 free minutes. So it's whatever. So, but I'm talking about for guys. Women become more discerning as they get to Taylor's age, right before they get 30, right, late 20s, early 30s, when they want to try to figure out where their life's gonna go next. That's when they become more discerning. They start saying, you know what, that experimental phase is over with. I done seen the curve, I done seen the hook, I done seen the little, I done seen the big, I done dealt with all of it. So now I want to find something that's just right for me. And I don't want something that everybody else, I'm gonna have to share with everybody else. So it's not a thing of to keep a man, because sex will not keep a person in a relationship. It won't. Money won't. Nothing will keep a person in a relationship if they don't want to be there.
Right.
Prime example. Cardi B just filed, for example, from Offset, filed for divorce. So, and they both got money. So, what does that tell you?
Hey, that WAP
He did one thing probably one too many times. He probably cheated again, and she was like, enough is enough.
He been cheating, dog.
I mean,
right.
She has a standard that she's not willing to sacrifice, so she's walking away. I'm not mad at either one of them. I mean, it happens. So just know that.
But I agree with you, Jay.
Coochie.
It is peer pressure, and I touched on that in my book. Like mine was definitely peer pressure, but to go back to you, Chris, like just being raised in a single parent home, like that actually motivated me to remain abstinent more, because I saw the struggle my mom went through. It was like, I'm not trying to have a baby at this young age. So you know what?
Siblings. We had siblings.
Right. So yeah, I had 2 younger siblings. So it's like seeing that struggle, I put myself in that situation. Like I respect her as a woman. I'm like amazed at what she did for us at such a young age. But it's like I don't want to go through that. I don't want to go that route. So
okay. So when you talk about the I don't know. I want to get into the pain part of it, because I know everybody's pain is different. You talk about the pain. What made you basically, you looked in the mirror and said, okay, enough is enough. And you put that in a book. I mean, again, because this book is going to be out there soon. Everybody's going to be reading it. I know I'm an audio book, and I'm going to listen to it, because I want to know the story now. I'm intrigued. Now that I'm seeing you, I want to know the story.
So, you know what? Originally, so I was with someone for almost 7 years. It was like my high school sweetheart. We dated throughout college, and then, bam, we both cheated on each other. And it just went downhill.
Damn!
It went downhill real fast.
Chris, stop. You're making it worse. Damn, you're making it worse. Damn.
What you mean I'm making it worse? It's gonna get better.
No, Chris making it worse. He animated and shit. He making it worse.
I mean, we cordial now, but
okay. You said he was your high school sweetheart going off to college. So that meant you was what? between 17 and like 21, 22, roughly.
So
You're so young at that
I
point.
started dating him when I was like 15.
Right. So that means, I ain't gonna say you were smothered by him. I can't say because I wasn't there, but what it is at some point, not that you wanted a different dingling, like I like to call it for this podcast, you ain't want a different dick. What you wanted was a little bit of independence, a little bit of freedom.
Was you
That's
cheating
me
on
when I was
off of
looking in.
revenge, or like you just wasn't feeling them, or you just wanted to experiment?
It was out of spite, honestly, but I couldn't prove it. You know, like you have that gut, that instinct, like he doing something, but I couldn't prove it.
You know what? This podcast is over. This podcast is over. You ruined it. I was on your side till you said that shit.
Listen, that's what I said. Look,
I was rooting for you so much.
That's the past. I wouldn't do that now. Like, lesson learned.
I was rooting for you so much till you said I couldn't prove it. If you couldn't prove it, what?
But it turned out to be right though. So what did you mean?
How did it turn out? How did you find out?
How did I find out? So originally I found out via text message, right? So one of my former teammates, one of my male teammates, he was cool with him. They were friends. They hung out. And they went to a party, got drunk, and I was hanging out with another one of his teammates' girlfriends, because we were friends, whatever, because like they both were on the same sports team, athletic team, so we hung out.
Right.
And we were having like margaritas that night or whatever, and she get a text from her boyfriend, was like, hey, can you pick me up? I'm too drunk to drive, like, can you pick me up? So he ended up getting my boyfriend's phone because he like passed out drunk or whatever. And in the text, it was like, hey, you want to go through these like biddies, or like, I'm not gonna curse, but females or whatever. And I was like, wait, excuse me. So then after that, it was like another instance, like someone told me, a male friend of mine, and I brought it up, and he was like, oh no, he's just trying to holler at you, like, nah, like, why would I cheat on you? Like,
classic.
Right,
classic
right?
one, yeah.
And I was
classic
so naive. So in this book, I'm putting all these females on games, like, bro, red flags are real, don't ignore them. But so then I was like talking to some guy, and I found him attractive, whatever, and like, so it was a one night stand with this dude.
Hey,
So,
he had this much game. This much.
Like
he had that much game.
Whatever.
He caught you at a moment of vulnerability.
So then he wanted to be
this much game.
But he wanted to be more than just friends, and I was like, oh,
it took you a long time to get rid of him?
I can't do that.
Did it take you a long time to get rid of him? After the one night stand?
A minute. And like,
you know why?
Ignoring his text messages and everything. What?
Because you shouldn't have done it.
Right. So that didn't come back to bite me in the butt. It was like the third time that caught, yeah. So anyways, he ended up like catching me and the other guy. And that's when he ended up telling me the truth, that he cheated too. But that's only a snippet of the book. It gets deep.
Yeah.
And so, you say October the 6th can't get hit fast enough.
Yeah, so
and it's a funny story, like me and my, well, go ahead.
What made you I guess, what made you choose the name Kendall versus just saying your real name?
I don't know.
Are you stupid? Who put
I didn't put my real name as the author.
Right. Everybody pseudonym. Nobody uses their real name in books.
I mean,
Mark Twain's name wasn't Mark Twain. Nobody does that.
Oh no, it just felt right. It just felt right.
Okay.
Especially in this day and age where everybody they can find out who it is anyway.
Yeah, that's like, yeah, big facts.
So is it like anything like I guess fabricated, or like any like thing like lie, like something stretched to like fluff a story up within this?
No, so everything is like real. The only thing that changed are names, locations, and teams. That's the only
okay. Got it. Understood. For legal reasons.
That's to protect the other hookers and hoes in this book. That's protecting them. Yes.
Like it was just.
No, that's not what it is. That's not what it's for. Okay, my bad. Okay, I apologize. My apologies. I don't know. I don't know if that's what it's for or not. I don't know.
Early, you said you found this like very therapeutic. Do you find yourself writing more, like another book later on in life?
Ooh, so maybe we're gonna see how something pan out first, and if it goes accordingly, yes.
She wants to see if her book gonna be a hit first.
ain't got nothing to do with this book.
Yeah.
You know what it might be? It might be waiting for him to put a ring on it.
Who? I'm single.
Oh, wow. She said she's single. She said it twice. I mean, just for real.
Hey, she
Hey,
y'all
gents, I'm
shot,
telling y'all,
fellas.
y'all can't see the podcast. It ain't out yet. But if y'all can see Miss Graham, I'm gonna give her a thumbs up. I'll give her 2. Y'all, if she's single, and you live in North Carolina, what part of North Carolina? I guess?
Raleigh, 919.
Raleigh, and you ain't on game. Get on game because you missing out. If I wasn't married, I would be proud to walk around with her on my arm. I said that.
Unless I know you specifically, I'm gonna have to. But if I know any of you niggas specifically, I'm gonna just say no. Like
if you have to wear a blue uniform with some blue pants and a red stripe down the side of it, call yourself a Marine. The answer is no. But anybody else, okay, maybe.
Yeah, you still gonna get whatchamacallit from that. Okay, this is crazy. So okay, like you stated earlier, it's just like you come from a single parent home, siblings, and then also you stated, I read this because your book is like on some German website for pre-order. I didn't know if you knew that.
Well, makes sense because I use an aggregator, so they are like your middle person, and they send your books out to different stores and websites and like brick and mortar stores like a Barnes and Noble and stuff.
Gotcha.
It's just a while. So that's why Amazon is so slow. Like they working out their discount. But yeah, so once that's settled, it should be ready for like pre-order in different places. So since this is in Germany, but it's kind of backwards that it's in another country and not here.
No, because rap music come out overseas before come out over here too. So that ain't nothing new.
Yeah, so my question is just like with you coming up in a devout Christian family, however, also being in a single parent home, how did you, I guess, how was your foundation rocked once you hit college? Because your foundation is the Christianity faith at the end of the day, you know?
Right. So like I touched on that in the book too, how basically I was raised in a devout Christian family home. But I would say that my family was like really devout till I was probably like a toddler. That's when they started going to church more because my grandfather, my grandfather Mo, he was always a nice guy, but I saw a change in him like later on. Like so, it was definitely a transition phase, and I grew up in the church, but I couldn't say probably the same for like my mom and her siblings. Like they probably went to church, but it wasn't. It was more of a tradition type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Versus taking it in personally and having a personal relationship with God. So now when I got to college, I was around teammates and friends and my then boyfriend. So church kind of went in the
freedom. It's called freedom. It's called freedom. It's called being away from home.
It was just like I know, but it's like I still had that feeling though, like, oh, this is wrong. Like I shouldn't be doing this. But once you keep doing something over and over, like that voice gets quieter and quieter, and it's gone.
It's always there though.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. But it just get quieter. Like it's like you just dimming it down even more and more. So yeah, it got crazy. But I mean, it worked out. I guess experiences will help other people. So
you didn't find like anybody else that was kind of like that ran track? Cause you ran track. You goddamn beast on the track team. Well, Kendall's a beast on the track team. I apologize. Kendall's a beast on the track team. So you didn't kind of find that balance of like a group of friends of like track and then like the Christian or the church lifestyle?
So I would say like everybody on the track team was heathens. So and that's who you all around when you like play a sport in college. So when I first at college, like you have your orientation and you have like your African American symposium because I went to a PWI. like, okay, we're gonna put all the black kids together so then they can like have their own little group so they won't feel like ostracized or alone. So I met some like we call them civilians if they weren't athletes. So I met some civilians and we were cool and we kicked it for like the first week. But then after that, why are y'all laughing?
Nigga, I'm dead right now.
Yo,
I'm
that's
dead
so
right now.
crazy.
No, she didn't just say that. They ain't athletes, so they civilians.
Yeah,
No,
I don't know
no,
where that term came from, but we used
no.
to call them civilians. But you know, like
Yo, if you're not military, you're a
created like
civilian.
Yeah, if you're not in the military, you're a civilian, but everybody else is civilian. Together, y'all all one group of people that have never served in the military, civilians.
That's funny. But yeah, so like you're around those people all the time, so you're not able to like hang out with like the non-student athletes as much as you are with your teammates because you're around them all the time, like 24/7. So you just end up building a bond with them like they're your family away from home. So he's like, all right, so I'm gonna just chill with them, I'm gonna do what they're doing. Like that's who I was around all the time. And even like when we had dinner and stuff, you're just around other athletes, so you're just around athletes all the time. Except for classes, in certain classes you have like athletes in there. Shoot, there's even a class just for athletes.
Right.
So
To make sure they keep their GPA.
no, not that.
Yeah.
It's like your freshman like orientation thing. It tells you how to speak.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You went to a predominantly white institution. I apologize. I apologize.
Yeah, this ain't Chapel Hill.
I apologize. This is not Virginia State University, Hampton, Howard. You know, any of those universities where black people go that are concerned about the black community. No, you went to a predominantly white institution.
No, I would have went to HBCU. My grandparents, both of them went to HBCUs.
Mm-hmm. But you didn't.
Well, that's because of track.
Okay. So let me ask you this. And I know you said you were around. It's the same thing in the military. You get around people that you would not normally hang around based on your job, which we call an MOS. But just because you're around those people, and I believe me, I'm not judging because if you look up heathen in the dictionary, it's a picture of me in there somewhere. Just because you're around those people don't mean you have to do what those people are doing. So, like you said, that voice that that conscious voice that says I shouldn't be doing this, you hear it, but you start dimming it a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more, and finally it kind of goes away. But you always know in the act, after the act, a couple of days later, like I shouldn't have done that or whatever the case is. How did you deal with that? You know, especially like Chris said, growing up in the faith,
You know what?
in a predominantly Christian household.
Like doing stuff like that, like testing fire. Like it's all fun and games till you get burned. So it's like, if as long as you're not feeling the consequences and the repercussions from it, you're gonna do it again. Like,
right.
That's all it was. It's like, oh, well, I'm having fun. I'm living my best life. This is what college is about. So.
But that's the lie that they sell to students. Like, hey, this is your time to experiment and find yourself and blah, 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 blah. And you out there doing it. And the consequences are no college prepares you for the emotional downturn of
So there's like soul ties that, like, if you're into like Christianity, like you probably heard of soul ties. Like they don't talk about that. You don't know about soul ties. You don't know about just like the emotional toll that it takes on other people. Like maybe you're fine, but you don't know how that other person's affected by it.
Yeah, that was one of my questions. Is like, okay, being a male, you know, being semi-attractive, and you know, may not had the best guidance in life. You know, you just going through anything that bark, right? So it's like, yo, what is a soul tie? How do you break a soul tie? And are all soul ties bad? That's 3 questions. My bad.
So I don't think all soul ties are bad, right?
Okay.
So like soul ties, like your soul, you know what a soul is, right?
Yeah.
Or your inner experience. So a tie is something that you get together, like that you're not up. So soul tie it don't even have to be sex. Like this could be emotional attachment. You just hanging out somebody, like a hug or whatever. It's just that chemical bond. So like in biology, you release oxytocins and stuff when you're around someone and you feel like their presence or you feel joy with them. So
you feel good.
Right. So that's like the soul ties is that thing that is forming without your consent, right? Like you might not physically or mentally think that you're like putting that out there, but it forms, and you know you have a soul tie if one, you can't like let that person go. Like you can't just, you start making them idle, or you start doing things that you normally wouldn't do that's compromising like your morals or your stance on things.
I thought
So
it
it's
was
not
damn good.
not to get confused with not to get confused with compromising, but it's more like, okay, like that's not me, or you're going against like what your person is telling you, which is I call like the Holy Spirit. So you're going against what your spirit man is telling you, like, oh, this is wrong, but you know what, whatever. It was 3 questions. I forgot the one. He's like, what is a soul tie? Is it good or bad? And how you break it.
Yeah, how do you break a
So
soul
for
tie?
me, how you break a soul tie, the best
In the
way
age
is
of
just,
social media.
right, block down. block them. Because like, you think you're grown enough, you're mature enough to handle it, but no, sometimes you have to block that person. Get rid of, remind you of them. Like, say they gave you a teddy bear or something for Valentine's Day or whatever it was. Get rid of that because it's gonna remind you of them. Music, certain songs will remind you of people. Locations, like just whatever it is, you're just gonna have to like get rid of it.
Man, you talk about certain songs. Today, Music Soul Child's birthday, so I was watching BET Soul, and they playing "Damn So Beautiful." I ain't talking to this girl in 20 years, but as soon as I heard the song, I was like, man, golly. I'm in my feelings like a mug. Over a song.
Yes, certain songs will just like trigger you.
So, you know, I understand what you're saying when you say songs or whatever, teddy bears, whatever.
Or like, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Like just music in general. Like if you know, like R&B, like I love R&B. I can listen to 90s R&B all day, every day. But I can only take it in doses. Then you know what? Because I'm celibate right now, and I'm like, Lord. Then I'm gonna like want to do something. So I have to put a limit on it.
I completely understand. And you can't, because music brings out emotions.
Yeah.
Whether they're good or bad or whatever, music brings out emotion. I mean, if you think about, I know when I was in the Marine Corps and Nuck If You Buck came out, I don't know where I was at when that song came out.
Either way, you're ready to fight.
Right, exactly. As soon as you hear that.
Same thing with certain TV shows. Like I don't watch like Real Housewives of Atlanta or Love and Hip Hop anymore, especially Love and Hip Hop. I used to watch in college, like all those reality shows, right? And every time after I watch them, I'll be like ready to like buck off at somebody or just like be in the mood to just pop off. And I'm like, yo, what's going on? It was those shows. Like that stuff do get in you and you don't realize it because you're just watching. You're like, oh, just entertainment, like whatever. But no,
you become invested. You become invested in the show because you feel like you're part of, and that's what they want you to do. They want you to feel the emotion of that person's pain. When Portia was going through whatever she was going through, Cordell way back when Love and Hip Hop in Atlanta first came out, and then she went through all these other relationships and Nene and all them other people. I'm with you. I had to stop watching it because it was just it's too much.
Yeah,
it's too much going on. So your soul tired. You get tired of the thing, and every Sunday at 7 o'clock you're watching last week's episode. 8 o'clock you're watching a new episode. And you wasting 2 of your life.
Right. You could be doing something totally that's edifying you, that's building you up. Go invest in something. Go look up stocks or something. Like, yeah.
So I guess my question would be for Jones is like, okay, you know, based on this book, right? You know, when you know the background, all she's been through, you know, as an adult or parent, how do you balance your child's lifestyle or like raising a child with real life world experiences? Because you know at the end of the day I feel as though in some circumstances based on like the household and how much money they bringing in, you know, I feel as though society raises our kids and parents, they provide the foundation to reinforce morals and traditions. So how do you balance that all at the end of the day?
Right. I'm gonna give you an example. Me and my wife, we took our kids to Florida one weekend, and we got them their own suite. Like we had a suite, they had a suite.
Oh shit.
And then we went to Colorado. They had a suite, we had a suite. Right. Then we went somewhere else. We had a suite, they had a suite. Because I don't want them to be impressed by a Motel 6. I don't want them to be impressed by a Red Lobster meal. I don't want them to be impressed by stuff that should be, if you got to eat and you go to Red Lobster ain't special. It's not. Olive Garden ain't nothing special. That's just a restaurant. You want to show somebody some balance in their life. You balance it out with service and sticking to your word. Like if you say you're gonna do something for somebody or do something for that person, that's what you do. But if your thing is, I took her to Red Lobster, I expect something from her. I don't want my kids to feel that just because somebody took you to Red Lobster, you gotta give them something in return. Or you took them to a Motel 6, you gotta give them nothing. That is nothing. Those are small things in the world of consumption. Like we are, when I say we, I'm talking about the crew that I hang out with. We are in the stage of our life where we don't even do like anything less than like 4-star. If it ain't a 4-star, 5-star hotel, we ain't going. It just, and not that I'm bragging, but we ain't going because we passed that. So we try to teach our kids the same thing. Like, look, the level of respect you get at an establishment is based on, honestly, it's based on the amount of money you're spending. So if you're spending money, they're gonna treat you different. If you're not, Motel 6, Holiday Inn, whatever you're going to, that's how you're gonna get treated. So when I'm doing, you know, all girls, I got all girls and one boy. You know that already. 6 girls, one boy. So when I'm talking about the girls, I try to get them ready for life is going to be, and they are not even close to ready for what life is going to be because social media has sped the process up so much. When we was coming up, we had to learn through experiences. Now you don't have to learn experiences. All you have to do is look at social media, and you can live vicariously through somebody else's experience without experiencing it yourself. And you get out in the world and think that, okay, because I watched it, I can deal with it, and they can't. You're not going to be able to. Emotionally, no matter what social media thinks they're preparing you for, your own emotional maturity is not going to be there because you haven't experienced it yourself. So that's the hard part of being a parent in this age and trying to make sure that your kids are prepared for the next phase in life.
Yeah, I guess
my
only pivot on that, you know, I had to pivot on you on that is just like, how do you balance that? It's like, yes, you're telling or you're showing your, as a father, as a Black father, African American male, you're showing your daughters like, look, Red Lobster ain't it or whatnot, right? Motel 6 ain't
right.
it. However, they can meet a nice, respectable man. He may come from a not so good background, but he knows like, yo, what I was just going through, that ain't it. And all he can afford at that time frame is, yo, a Red Lobster, a motel, an E1 in the military, Jones, an E1 and E2 in the military.
I got you. I got you. As long as you don't come at them with that low level of if you come with this is the best it's gonna get, I wouldn't expect them to be like, okay, I'm gonna try to work with him and get. I don't expect none of my children to look at somebody and be like, I could never work with him and build something from the relationship or build to something better. But if that's the best he ever gonna do, or she ever gonna do, if the lifestyle they want to live, she's ever gonna do, then they should know better than to stick it out 7, 8, 9 years just to see if they can get to a better state. We all go through our struggles, all of us. Yeah. And hell, y'all still in y'all 20s.
For 2 months.
When
I'm 30, baby. I'm 30.
He's 30. I mean, hell, he just turned 30.
Not less than a month.
He just turned 30. I mean, oh, good God. So, but when you get to your 30s, like I said, for this young lady, Miss Graham, you start realizing that there's more to life than quick hit it and get it. Having fun all the time. You gotta start focusing on stuff that's serious because you gotta start planning for the 3rd or 4th part of your life. Right now you're in the working stage. After the working stage, you're gonna go into like a semi, like I don't want to really work, but I still gotta work. Then you're gonna go into retirement. When you get to retirement, you don't want to be putting up with a whole bunch of people's BS. You don't want to be in a relationship with somebody because you've been in a relationship with them for so many years. So you gotta make sure that you groom yourself so that you don't necessarily need anyone. You want to be with someone, because needing somebody and wanting somebody is two different things.
Yeah. I just didn't want the what you put out there to be like, well, you know, yeah, my daddy put me in 4-star hotels and XYZ, so I don't got to do anything, because it's women out here, they've been spoiled, or we're considering them spoiled all their life. And I'm like, yo, you're not even worth goddamn a Fortel, a Ruth Chris, what's that steak spot you said earlier? Henry's, all of that stuff. Like, yo, based off a conversation alone. I'll take you to the bar at Applebee's before anything.
Based off the energy that they're giving you, based off the energy, it's the energy. It's not that they're not worth it. It's that attitude about getting it that makes you say that they're not worth it. They automatically assume that they walk in the door rating this versus walking in the door and being humble and saying, you know what, maybe the best he can do is Outback or Longhorn. He ain't at Ruth Chris or the next level up or whatever that is. Whatever steakhouse or food restaurant you like, seafood, whatever it is. He's not there yet, but together, that's the part that I think that's missing in a lot of relationships in general. Together, we can get there. It should not be all on one person to make sure that the other person's happy. You should be happy with yourself first, then build happiness with somebody else. But if you depending on me to make you happy, you're gonna be that motherfucker. You're gonna be mad.
For real. Like two halves can't make a whole.
Nope.
To be complete, you need to be complete first, and the other person need to be complete. And I agree with you. It's like your mentality. Like their mentality is like stuck on poverty or like Red Roof Inn or Holiday Inn or whatever. Like they think that's great, then like, yeah, this ain't gonna work. Like
or if they, Chris, one of the things I can't stand. You hear me talk about it all the time. Seeing a woman out in public in a bonnet, I can't stand it. I hate it.
So presentation, I understand.
You can't. I will tell you this and I don't know if y'all remember the Cosby Show, but it was a episode of the Cosby Show. Theo was having problems with his girlfriend, and Cliff said to him, "Hey, what's your favorite meal?" And Theo said, "I like steak." So Cliff said, "Okay, I got you a nice steak. It's cooked, seasoned perfectly. I got you some asparagus, some nice mashed potatoes, but I bring it to you on trash can lid. You still want to eat that steak?" The answer is no. He said no. He said, "You know why? It's the presentation. It's how it to you. Same thing with some of these females and some of these men. Just because I got money don't make me a catch. Right. Just because I got a fat ass don't make me a catch." You see what I'm saying?
They so it's their own traumas and mental health experiences.
Yeah, but when Ms. Graham talks about her book and her life experiences from high school through college and a little bit maybe beyond that, it is. I can't wait for the book to come out. Honestly, I want to read it because I want to get a better understanding, not of you as a person,
like
but of what. Right. How do you feel like what I just said? When you said, two halves can't make a whole. How do you feel about what I said about the rest of that stuff? Like, I try to teach my daughters that don't be impressed by the small stuff or what I would deem to be just enough effort, because I get impressed by just enough effort. So how do you feel about that?
I agree. Like exposure is a big thing. Like if you're exposed to that before, like traveling, like my mom used to take us to like New York and stuff when we were young. So when people traveling, like, oh, I'm not impressed by that, or just like, oh, not, and I'm like, oh, whatever. But it's like,
oh, you only go to Miami,
exposure
nigga?
is a big thing. You're right. Legit. And I'm like, oh, here, right. But you know what though? Like some people haven't had that exposure, so I'm not gonna judge them though. Like that doesn't make the person. So it's like their heart, getting to know them, and their mentality. Like where are you going? Your goals. Do you have goals? Like things like that.
And your goals. And I would hate for somebody to start a relationship and the first question they ask somebody, will you see yourself in 5 years? Most people can't tell you where they're gonna see themselves next week. So asking them where they see themselves in 5 years is like one of them questions that's so loaded for failure that it's not even fair.
Yeah.
What do I want myself in 6 months? I got this that I want to do, this I want to do, and this I want to do. Then if you stay with that person for 6 months and in that 6 months they have not accomplished any of them goals, then you reevaluate and you roll. You stay. But you don't give them 5 years of your life to figure out what they want to do. You give them 6 months.
Right. I agree.
5 years is a long time. I mean, hell, in 5 years, Taylor's gonna be 34.
35.
Almost 35. Almost 35. So
Yeah, I don't have that type of time.
Yeah.
see, that's how women think. See, that's how women think, right? Well, why don't you have that kind of time, Jill?
Why?
Why not?
Because I feel
Why
like
not?
I'm wasting my time. 35 years to wait on somebody? That's crazy.
See?
Hey, just
When
like
men will drag their feet and be like, she'll wait.
Well, they have to find another person to wait. Because I'm sure there are ladies or females out there that will wait. I'm not one of them.
nah.
Okay.
I cut you in a quickness, like recruiting. I screen to disqualify. Anything that I'm not with, I'm asking those questions immediately.
Immediately, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey man, you got asthma, you
It
allergic
doesn't
to
take 5
eggs,
years
you
to
got this,
know.
you got that. Yeah, I'm getting you out of there as fast as I possibly can because I don't need to waste
Right.
time. So
It doesn't take 5 years to
Um,
know if you want to be with somebody for the rest of your life. It doesn't.
You brought up a good point.
Why you think Jay? Elaborate. You don't agree?
let's just put that on ice. Go ahead, Alexander. Say what you said to say.
No, go ahead. Touch on it real quick. Touch on it.
Okay. It don't take 5 years. It don't take 5 years to decide if you want to be with somebody. You're absolutely right. It does not. It does not take 5 years. But listen to me. Listen, Linda. Listen. If you rush into some shit because you in love with the outside of a person or the game they spit or whatever it is, you could be in some shit for 10 or 15 years and can't get out of it.
True.
So
I agree.
It's nothing wrong with slowing it down and taking your time. And I'm not saying waste somebody's time, but you're right. It does not. You know, if you want to be with somebody out the gate, probably about 6 or 7 months in, like, okay, I could deal with this person. They're not that hard to get along with. They're hard working. They got morals. They got a foundation we can build on. The reason why I made the face at 5 years, it doesn't take 5 years to get to know somebody. A person can wear a mask for 2 years.
You think 2 years? You don't think their true color surfaced before?
Hell no.
2 years to just put on the front. Like, who has the energy?
You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. People can wear a mask for a long time, and you'll never really know them because you got to see people go through their ups, their downs.
Yes. So do that early. Trigger them. See how they treat mom. See how they treat like waiting staff or custodian or someone. Like, just watch them. They don't have to be interacting with you, but see how they interact with other people.
She said trigger them. You don't trigger people just to see how they interact with other people.
Look, you ain't gonna get mad sooner or later.
Yo. That's low key toxic.
Yeah, just a little bit. You're creeping into the crazy zone. That's what you're doing. That's what you're doing.
Hey.
You're trying to trigger somebody.
You can watch. You can see. You can get somebody to show their true colors before 2 years.
You're true. That's true. But you might not like the way they react to something based off what you expect of them. The made up expectation in your mind. So if you make up an expectation in your mind and it's not what you thought they should have done, you could find a reason to get rid of it.
You need to talk about it. That's communication. Because unmet expectations lead to frustrations.
Ooh, Chris, did you hear what she said?
Hold on. Say that again so I could type it. Hold up. What'd you say?
Okay, so that's when communication, that's when you talk about it. So they didn't meet your expectations. Like, you had a different vision of how they were supposed to do something or carry something out. Then you communicate that to them because they can't read your mind and vice versa. But unmet expectations lead to frustrations. So that's why you're frustrated and over there mad because they didn't meet your expectation.
Unmet expectations lead to frustrations.
Communication is key.
That's a good title for a book.
Oh, there you go. Unmet expectations lead to frustrations, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, got it. So speaking of expectations and being frustrated in life, you know, we all have this thing in life, and we all make plans. Like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, and depending on who you believe in, the man upstairs be like, nah, it's gonna happen on my time. The Lord, God, whatever you believe in, he says it's going to happen on my time. So you brought up a key part in that I read so far, you said, you know, your submission to God. And a quote that I read was, humble yourselves, therefore, under God's mighty hand, that he may lift up in due time. So I guess back to you is just like, when did you realize that you needed to submit to God and go back to your foundation of life and stop playing in the devil's playground?
Yeah. After all that stuff, like I hurt people. I was hurt. And it was like, you know what? I'm making a mess of my life. Like I wasn't getting any better. I was making it worse. I had like hit rock bottom.
Hurt people,
I had to
hurt
move
people.
back home with my mom. And that was humbling. Like, who wants to move back in their mom when they're like mid-20s? Nobody. Was
Yeah.
over mid-20s. I was like 23, 24, something around there. And I was like,
That's mid-20s.
You young in
was
life.
mid-20s.
You still
right.
young in
And I
life,
was like, right. And I was like, that was so humbling. But you know what? Like, you can paint this picture on social media that you living your best life, that you got all this going on. So it's like people post their highlight reels on social media. And I'm like, that's one thing people need to be aware of. Because it's like, yeah, I was still traveling there too. But guess what? I had money because like I was living with my mom. But nobody knew that. So
Yo said that rent money going to these plane tickets and cruises.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
When
like,
people post their highlight reels on social media, that is a very true statement. People give you the best part of their life on social media. That's why I said these kids today aren't prepared for the real world, because what they see on social media, they think life is that easy all the time.
Life 24/7, right?
Right. And life ain't that easy.
Not at all. And so it's like being open and vulnerable in this book is like what I hope people like see, like, hey, okay, you're down now, but it's gonna get better. Like you're learning from your lessons. What you went through is gonna better you, and it might help somebody else. Like maybe what you went through is not even for you. It might be to help someone else along the way. So, but yeah, when I hit rock bottom, that led me back to Christ. Like going back home, that's when I started going back to church and taking my faith seriously. And that was to me like, okay, I need to change this. I need to do this. I need to cut these people off. Like I lost friends in this transition, and that hurt. And I talked about it in the book too, because like when you're growing, everybody can't go where you're going, and you're just lose people in that.
You cannot drag everybody along. All you're doing is the burden of trying to carry people will weigh you down to the point where you can't even you can't regenerate yourself. You can't do what you need to do. So you can't bring everybody along.
You can't pour when you're empty yourself. So it's like, how am I pouring you somebody? You're not pouring into me. If anything, you're just eating me. Like you're not making me any better. You're an enabler of the toxic life I'm living. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's deep when you say you lost friends, because as you grow, as you have more birthdays, you will lose friends, because everybody's not gonna come to the same level that you're on throughout your life. At 30, you're gonna have a girlfriend that's still gonna be have a 24-year-old mentality. Mm-hmm. She's still gonna be trying to go to the club every weekend and do stuff. And you're gonna be like, I ain't got time for that. So you're gonna fall slowly but surely. They're gonna start falling by the wayside. And you're gonna have a core crew that's gonna be your strength. The person that you can go to and be like, girl, guess what? Or ain't your dude, but you can talk to him about anything, and he not gay.
Yeah.
Right. That you could talk to, and you gonna bring him along, and people gonna make your new foundation a little bit stronger, and a little bit better, because they bring in different perspectives. It's not just that you're going off of. It's not your mom's perspective or your family's perspective. It's all these other perspectives. Everybody's bringing a piece of the pie to make it whole. Because with you and this, I cannot wait for October 6th to get here. You're gonna look back on this and be like, man, I have come so far. You're gonna be surprised at how far you've come when you really think about it. If you think about from 15 to, it's 15 years. So you should be a different person right now. You should not be the same person 15 years ago, or 4 years ago, or 5 years ago.
I was about to say, yeah, you shouldn't be the same person you was yesterday. Like you should be growing every day.
Yeah, but sometimes it's hard for some people to grow every day.
Right.
You know, sometimes in life you get stuck in that. And y'all haven't met one yet. Maybe you have, Chris, because you was in the military. The dude that had his best decade when he was in high school, and that's where you stuck at.
Everybody know those people.
You know, at least one person that had their best
Yes,
life.
and they just stuck there.
from,
Like they don't
11
think it. That's because they don't think it can get any better. They think that's their glory days, and nothing ahead of them is gonna get any better. Like that's their limit.
They have lived their best life from between 11th grade and like the year after they graduated high school, and that's where they stuck at, right there.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's important to keep your circle small, but keep your circle strong. You can have a whole lot of people in your circle, and that's just a whole lot of cracks that's going to develop because there's too many personalities and too much going on and too much infight, because it's going to happen. But if you got a small, tight circle and it's strong, it's always going to be strong because everybody in that circle going to have your back. So you might be quiet, you got your hand on your mouth and sitting back like an OG.
Nah, I got a question. I was just letting you finish.
Go ahead.
My last question for me personally is like, Taylor, is like, yo, why do you think it's hard for people to grow outside their comfort zone? Because you touched on that in the book.
Yeah, it's scary because you don't know. So imagine just walking down a dark alley, right? And you like, where am I going? But because I believe in God, he said you got a light for your pathway, right? So he's not gonna show you the whole pathway, he's just gonna show you the next step. And we can't say I get worried about the whole pathway, like, oh God, no, I need to see point A to point B in the whole plan. But he only gonna give you like step by step. And he's like, why, you know what I had to realize, like, why am I worried about the future step or the whole path when I haven't even took the next step? So that's why I was gonna come.
Walk by faith, not by sight, huh?
Exactly.
Basically.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. Look at you, Chris, come through.
You can't try to move faster than the plan.
Fact.
If you understand that statement, you can't try to move faster than the plan. A lot of us try to do that. We try to move so fast. We try to outpace the plan.
Yes.
You create your own turmoil by trying to move fast, trying to do too many things at the same time instead of focusing on the one thing that you know you should be focused on.
And that's crazy, right? Because it's like, I believe God can do something in a second that people work their entire lives for. Like overnight sensations, like that can happen. Like I serve a God that can do that. Now on the flip side, back to like friends things, like I said, I lost friends, but I've learned that people are in your life for a reason. Like it might be a season, but everyone that you encounter is going to teach you a lesson if you're like paying attention. Like you learn something from it.
I said that like a week ago.
Right. It might be painful as hell, but you're going to learn.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where we all go through life thinking we know, and as you get older, you're going to think you know everything, but you don't know everything. And it takes your friends, your true friends, to point out the things that you don't know. And I'm not talking about like the Bible and stuff like that. I'm talking about in life. They point out the things that they see from the outside, because everybody paints their own picture with their own rose-colored glasses to make themselves comfortable. It's your true friends will make you uncomfortable in your own image. Right. They'll make your picture a little bit blurry because they say, look, that ain't right, this ain't right, that ain't right. You might want to reevaluate. That's what your friends are for. If they're not doing that, they're not really your friends. Exactly. If everybody always rooting for you, they're not your friends. It should be some of your friends that's like, look, you need to dial that back a little bit and think about it from a different perspective.
I totally agree.
Anybody got any other? I'm good on my questions. I'm satisfied because I didn't want to sell a whole book and they be like, "Wow, what's the point of listening to it and reading it?"
Yeah, we did.
Oh no, we didn't even touch on like some deep stuff.
We don't want to touch. We don't want to touch on all the deep stuff. We want people to be actually go out there, and like you said, it's on different platforms. Go out there and get the book and read the book and or listen to the book or an audio book or whatever you want to do.
Leave a review. Let me know what your thoughts are, how it helped you, or even if you didn't like it. But I'm sure.
No, because that's the other side of growth. Mm-hmm. You can't always please everybody. And somebody's going to say it's trash. Somebody's going to say it's trash. Somebody's going to be like, girl, you don't know what you're talking about because they ain't dead yet.
Facts. This is true.
Yeah, well, the experience is just different.
Take those, and I hope you can take those hits.
Right. That's what I was about to say.
Right.
Everybody's not going to relate to you. That's just in life. Everybody's not going to like you, period.
Yeah.
So,
hope you can take those hits, the good and the bad, and keep moving forward. Don't let
I'm
this,
not worried.
whatever it is, you got your faith, so your faith
Right.
will carry you through. Don't worry about it, because if people are, I don't want to call them haters, but people are nasty for no reason. I mean, they just nasty for no reason.
Just looking at the world, you'll see it every day.
Right. So I want to say this. I know what Chris is gonna say, and it's my first time ever meeting you over Zoom. But I wish you the best of luck with the book. Much success. Congratulations. And please, please do not let this be the last that we hear from Ms. Graham on this. The author. Oh, that sounds.
Yo, my cousin a fucking author, yo.
Hey.
Author.
You know what though? Like my goal is to turn this into like a TV series because I think it's that good. It's deep.
Okay.
We'll see.
The thing, if that's your goal, please make sure that you maintain some kind of control over it.
Yeah.
Because they will take your vision and turn it into something completely different.
Yeah, Hollywood tends to do that. I've
Yeah.
seen some movies and those that went
Right. So maintain control. Congratulations. I wish you the best of luck. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. We need more young, Black, inspiring female authors. I mean, we got a lot of Black people doing it right now, but if they're doing it right now, don't mean they're always going to be doing it. Keep on pushing. Also, I always say this: reach back and pick somebody else up that might have the same inspiring thought of becoming an author or something else. Reach back, pull one with you. Hopefully, they pull one with you. You shouldn't become successful bringing somebody along for the ride. So
thank you so much. That was very thoughtful. Thank you, Jay. It was a nice meeting you and amazing conversation. Like, this is so fulfilling.
Where can people find your book at? Like, give us all platforms, give us websites, like, give us everything. Like, smother us on where we can find this book at.
So I'm on all social media for the book. Tay_psych. Just kidding. I was about to give you my personal one. So for the book, it's Tay_com. So like TayMonet.com. Actually, you can go to TayMonet.com. So links to the book, links to the website, all the social medias, like TayMonet.com is that's where you should go. And it's available on Amazon for pre-order.
And if you're in Germany, it's available on a German website.
Because my colleagues are in Germany, so I should tell them that.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. I'm about to send it to you right now. Jones, you got any closing comments? You wanna you wanna shout your website out or anything, Jones? Goddamn John Wick.
Oh no, about Ms. Graham today. This is all about Black excellence today. No, because I shout mine out on every podcast. We do a podcast like every other week, so I shout mine out all the time. But today is about and promoting that Black excellence. It is to meet somebody that's inspiring to be better than they were yesterday and continue to be inspired. I wish you the best of luck. Same thing, I don't tell Chris this enough. I'm proud of him and his podcast. He put me on to this podcast thing. He asked me, what has it been like? What? Something like that. 3 years ago to be on a podcast, and we still doing them. I inspire Black excellence. I like the fact that we got young people out here trying to make a difference. Congratulations to both of y'all. It takes I'm gonna give you it takes a nation of millions to hold us back.
I like it.
If you ever listen to you know what that means.
Mm-hmm.
So we can't be held back. There ain't enough people to hold us back. We can keep on moving forward.
That's awesome.
I like that. I like that. I like that. So if anybody, well, y'all better be interested in order this damn book. False start. What is it? Hold on.
You're gonna bully people.
Right.
Oh yeah. You better fucking order this book. False Start, A Record of Experience by Tay Monet. I'm gonna link her website to my website, to the UnpredictableThoughts2.com website. You could get it off there as well. Now also we'll have the link on there as well, as far as like the whole Amazon, because I got another one of my homeboys' books down there. So, hey, family first, we're gonna make it happen. We will make sure this book. I don't know what the chart is in the booking world, but we gonna get it to number one somehow. And this is a dope book for all my people of just like not really understanding life in general. We have to realize like, it's okay to ask for help. When you don't ask for help, not asking for help is self-sabotage at the end of the day. If you really think about it, not asking for help is self-sabotage at the end of the day. So read this book, audible it, goddamn record it and podcast it. I'd do it if I could, and all that good stuff. I want to say thank you for coming on. I think, is this your first interview?
Thank you for having me. Yeah, it is. Thank you for having me. Yes.
Oh, turn up, we lit. So, like, family first. So, thank y'all for tuning in for another episode of Unpredictable Thoughts Podcast. Your boy Trouble's in the building.
And your man Jones.
Peace. I gotta stop recording. Hold on.